The Boss. The main purpose of this work is contemplation. The story is here for those who wish to listen. Chapter 1. The Boy Nobody Saw. Picture a remote village nestled deep in the forested heart of America's Pacific Northwest. Homes half hidden among towering century-old pines, as if the trees themselves were guarding secrets the wind dared not carry away. This was where Alex was born. At 17 years old, his clearest memory was the smell of freshly cut wood from his father's workshop, the soft scrape of brushes against old canvas, and the absolute silence that fell at dusk, broken only by the crunch of gravel beneath mud-caked boots. The village had exactly 387 residents. It boasted a bar that locked its doors promptly at 9 o'clock each night, a rundown cinema that endlessly looped 1970s westerns on worn VHS tapes, and a gas station doubling as a bait shop for trout fishermen. Alex was invisible. While other boys lived for Friday nights, chasing cheap beer in pickup trucks parked along the riverbanks, passing around joints in tight circles, stealing pills from medicine cabinets to chase fleeting highs, Alex locked himself away in the workshop. There he built model ships from balsa wood scraps. He carved perfect wooden spoons with nothing but his pocket knife. He painted forest landscapes on cedar planks he never intended to sell. He didn't read philosophy books. He created with his hands. Always he considered himself unattractive, an angular face too thin for comfort, a nose slightly crooked from a bicycle crash at 13 years old, brown hair he never learned to style properly. Village girls dated football players or boys with lifted trucks. Alex was simply the weird kid who never comes out. "Come with us, Alex. Don't be such a pussy," they would taunt. He would smile calmly, grab his toolbox, and reply, "I'd rather build something that lasts." That same night, standing before the steamed-up bathroom mirror with hot shower water clouding his reflection, he made a different kind of promise to himself. "I'm going to have money," he whispered fiercely. "Big houses. My own workshop. Power to do exactly what I love without anyone telling me how. A life actually worth living." At 18, a technical scholarship in carpentry and industrial design at the State University in Seattle became his escape. He packed his tools, his half-finished canvases, his incomplete designs. "I'll come back rich," he told his widowed mother. The bus roared down the forest road through the pines. Alex never looked back. But those early promises hid deeper wounds. Alex wasn't just shy. He felt fundamentally unlovable. The other boys' weekend conquests, their stories of girls and cheap whiskey, stung not because he envied their trucks or hunting trophies. What hurt was their belonging. They had a tribe, however destructive. Alex had solitude. When they passed him the joint under pickup truck headlights, laughing as he shook his head, he felt the distance widen. "Saint Alex," they mocked. He pretended it didn't cut. Yet even then, something stubborn burned inside him. Every rejected invitation strengthened his resolve. While they nursed hangovers, he sanded wood smoother than river stones. While they nursed crushes, he carved ships that could sail imaginary oceans. The workshop became his sanctuary, its sawdust floor more welcoming than any bonfire circle. His father noticed, placing a calloused hand on his shoulder one dusk. "They'll regret laughing when you're building houses they can't afford." Alex nodded, chisel in hand. Deep down, he believed it. The village watched him leave on that gray morning, backpack slung over one shoulder, toolbox rattling beside him. Old ladies at the diner whispered over coffee mugs. "That boy's too quiet. City's going to eat him alive." The boys who once excluded him leaned against their trucks, smirking. "Won't last a semester without his mommy." Alex heard none of it. As the bus pulled away, pines blurring into green streaks through the window, he traced the outline of his future workshop on the fogged glass. Seattle waited. Money waited. The power to prove them all wrong waited. For the first time, the boy nobody saw felt himself becoming visible, if only to the reflection staring back from that dirty bus window. But Seattle was no fairy tale escape. It was a crucible waiting to test whether the quiet carpenter from the woods could survive a world that valued noise above all else. The city lights beckoned, promising everything he had ever wanted. What Alex didn't yet understand was that those same lights would nearly blind him to the boy who had gotten him there. Chapter 2: The City That Wanted to Break Him. Seattle hit Alex like a freight train slamming into quiet forest stillness. The city unfolded before him in relentless assault, Starbucks logos glowing on every corner like corporate constellations, hipsters with face piercings and man buns spilling from overpriced coffee shops, smartphone apps promising to deliver everything from dates to dumplings to digital currency dreams. The air buzzed with electric chaos 24 hours a day. Sirens wailed through concrete canyons. Bass thumped from passing cars at 3 in the morning. For a boy raised where the loudest sound was wind through pine needles, it felt like drowning in sound. His first apartment was a 6th-floor walk-up in Capitol Hill, 500 square feet of peeling paint and exposed brick that smelled faintly of weed and regret. Rent, $1,200 a month, more than his mother made in 2 months back home. The mattress sagged in the middle. The bathroom sink dripped rhythmically. But through the single window, he could see the Space Needle piercing the skyline like a needle through fabric, waiting to be threaded with his future. University started brutally. Technical classes in computer-aided design, industrial carpentry workshops, material science lectures delivered by professors who spoke too fast for his rural ears. Classmates arrived in BMWs and Teslas their parents leased, wearing designer hoodies that cost more than his entire wardrobe. They called him Forest Boy at first, laughing when he unpacked his battered toolbox during lab sessions. "You gonna build us a treehouse, lumberjack?" one asked, joint already half-smoked before 9 a.m. Alex smiled tightly. Kept working. The real war began on weekends. Fraternity parties in cavernous houses where red Solo cups littered every surface like fallen plastic soldiers. The air hung thick with marijuana smoke, so heavy you could chew it. Bass from subwoofers rattled internal organs. Girls in crop tops danced on tables. Guys in backwards caps shouted over the music about crypto gains and weekend lineups at Coachella. Alex went exactly 3 times, each worse than the last. First party, vodka cranberries forced into his hand, bitter burned down his throat. Second party, someone passed him a joint under pickup truck headlights transplanted to an urban backyard. "Hit it, dude. Loosen up." He passed it back silently. Laughter followed. Third party, a girl from his design class cornered him against a keg, breath sour with Fireball whiskey. "You're cute in a weird way. Wanna go upstairs?" Her hand slid up his thigh. Alex stepped back. "Thanks, but no." She rolled her eyes. "Suit yourself, Virgin Mary." What hurt wasn't their ambition. It was their stupidity. These weren't kids discussing Tesla stock splits or Silicon Valley exits. They got high. All the time. Weed during morning lectures. Adderall crushed into energy drinks for focus during finals week. Cocaine in rooftop bathrooms to feel the city pulse. "Why won't you just try it, Alex? It'll make you fun," they'd plead, pupils dilated, energy manic and brittle. He watched them turn in half-assed CAD renderings stained with Cheeto dust. Saw their Instagram stories of productive all-nighters that ended in ER visits. Watched promising design concepts abandoned for the next high. Alex never touched drugs. Not once. By the end of his 3rd semester, the physical transformation began. He found a no-frills gym in a converted warehouse 3 blocks away. $50 a month. Rusty plates. No AC. Perfect. 3 sessions a week turned to 5. Chicken breast and jasmine rice became his religion. 8 hours sleep, no exceptions. 20 pounds of teenage pudge melted away, replaced by functional muscle, broad shoulders that filled out thrift store t-shirts, veined forearms from gripping barbells, a jawline that finally emerged from boyish softness. At 183 meters and 86 kilos of lean mass, mirrors started lying less. Suddenly, the untouchables noticed him. Sorority girls who'd ignored his existence now slid into his DMs with fire emojis. Gym influencers with curated abs wanted spotting sessions. Event planners from high-end design firms batted lashes over oat milk lattes. We should grab drinks Friday. The first date was with Kayla, 21, blonde, sorority president type who'd laughed at his toolbox presentation day 1. Dinner at a trendy ramen spot. She ordered matcha everything. Halfway through appetizers, "You're hot now." Like, surprisingly. "Wanna come back to mine?" Alex saw the pattern forming like storm clouds over Puget Sound. They wanted sex. Fast. Disposable. Seattle's lust ran ravenous. Nameless hookups catalogued on private stories, ghosting after orgasm, bodies commodified for social media validation. He ended every encounter politely. "Had a nice time, but this isn't for me." Back to his apartment alone, he'd pull out the sketchpad, design furniture lines until 2 a.m. while the city screamed outside. Even attractive now, his self-esteem wounds festered. The mirror showed a 183-meter man with an athlete's build, but his brain whispered, "You're still the weird kid. You don't know how to act in this chaotic society. You'll always be the one who doesn't party." He tried being his best self, gentlemanly on dates, thoughtful conversationalist, carefully chosen gifts like hand-carved keychains. But cocktail hours with rapid-fire sarcasm, networking events where everyone spoke in startup jargon, social whirlwinds that moved at internet speed overwhelmed him completely. He preferred honest solitude. University became pure isolation. No parties. No Greek life. Just CAD classes, industrial woodworking labs, nights alone eating instant ramen while entering furniture design contests that rarely placed. Professors noticed his work ethic. "Alex, your joinery is surgical. Ever think commercial?" Classmates copied his techniques, never crediting. He never cared. Belonging meant nothing when excellence spoke louder. First real paycheck arrived sophomore year, $42,000 annually, freelance drafting for boutique cabinetry firms. Sophomore summer internship bumped it to $58,000. By graduation, $72,000 base plus commissions. He bought his first set of Japanese chisels. First real suit for interviews, navy wool, tailored simple. First investment account, Vanguard index funds, automatic deposits every payday. Dates continued sporadically. Engineers from Boeing. Baristas moonlighting as models. Startup founders with venture capital dreams. Pattern unchanged. Dinner, flirtation, proposition. "You're intense," they'd say post-departure. "Too serious for Seattle." Alex nodded, finished his coffee, returned to solitude. Better alone than hollow. Senior year brought the first contest win, 3rd place, Northwest Woodworking Expo. $5,000 prize for a minimalist oak dining table prototype. Judges called it brutalist poetry. Local design blogs picked it up. First Instagram following, 300 accounts, mostly carpenters. First brand deal offer, tool company wanted his workshop set up for promotional video. Declined. "Don't sell my process." Graduation came quiet. No cap toss celebration. Diploma framed above workbench. Full-time offer, $98,000 annually from Portland Furniture Company, remote design for luxury hotels. He bought proper work boots. Red Wing. Iron Ranger. $300. Worth every penny. But 28 hit different. Peak physical. Deadlift 400 pounds. Pull-ups unbroken 20 reps. Shoulders cutting t-shirt seams. Peak professional. 110,000 salary. Passive investments hitting 6 figures. Peak social options. Women he'd never dreamed of approached openly now. Yet the void grew. Not depression. Architectural silence. Seattle screamed network. At Gin Tonic Afterworks. His soul craved space to create without performance. One insomnia-riddled night at 2 a.m., Google Maps open on his phone. He typed village coordinates from memory. Zoomed slow motion over childhood cabin, moss-covered green shingle roof, ancient oak embracing like eternal sentinel. Street view frozen at 2018, but everything waited pristine. The pull hit visceral, bone deep. Decision crystallized before dawn. Apartment listed for sale next morning. 6-figure contract resigned with 2 weeks' notice. 15 meticulously packed crates, Japanese lathe, Swiss panel saws, half-finished canvases, cast iron weight plates. Portland flight. Rented pickup truck. 4-hour forest drive on roads muscle memory still new. Cabin stood waiting, dusty but structurally sound. Towering pines whispered homecoming. Unloading final Japanese pull saw, calloused hands shook first time in years. Not defeated return. Complete evolution. Chapter 3. The Years of the Man Who Never Belonged. The years rolled forward like the slow, deliberate stroke of a plane smoothing rough oak, each season revealing grain hidden beneath the surface. Alex turned 22 with a technical diploma in hand, his name etched in small print on the university's graduate list, overshadowed by louder voices celebrating with rooftop parties and bottomless champagne brunches. No cap-tossing ceremony for him. No tearful family photos in the quad. He framed the diploma above his workbench instead, its gold foil already gathering sawdust, and started his first full-time remote contract with Portland Furniture Company at $72,000 a year. His apartment in Capitol Hill had evolved from crash pad to functional sanctuary. The main room now housed a proper workbench spanning 8 feet, Japanese chisels aligned like surgical instruments, prototype chairs stacked chronologically against the exposed brick wall, each iteration showing subtle improvements in joinery and ergonomics. Rent climbed to $1,600 monthly, but commissions from hotel contracts covered it easily. He bought his first real tool chest, oak dovetailed drawers, $5,000 delivered from a luthier in Kyoto. Worth every penny. Physical transformation accelerated. 5 gym sessions became 6. Deadlifts climbed from 250 to 350. Pull-ups went from sets of 8 to unbroken 20s. Shoulders broadened enough to strain thrift store t-shirt seams. Forearms veined like old oak roots from endless planing sessions. At 24, 183 meters and 90 kilos of functional muscle, women noticed. Not just gym acquaintances now. Real attention. The sorority president from freshman year slid into his DMs during finals week. Saw your table prototype. Hot work. Coffee. Turned into dinner at a Capitol Hill gastropub. She ordered truffle fries and a $15 cocktail. Halfway through, you're different now. Confident. My place after. Alex finished his burger slowly. Appreciate the offer, but I'm good. She blinked, confused. Your loss. He smiled genuinely. Never heard from her again. Pattern repeated with precision. 24-year-old marketing director from a furniture startup. Love your Instagram shop sketches. Networking drinks. 5 dates later, same proposition. 25-year-old interior designer from an architecture firm. Client dinner turned private after party invitation. 26-year-old fitness influencer, 120,000 followers. Spot me tomorrow? Then, my hotel room. Alex ended each encounter the same way: polite decline, firm boundary. Not my thing. Take care. Self-esteem wounds lingered deep despite the mirror's new truth. 183 meters. 92 kilos lean mass. Jawline sharp enough to split kindling. Eyes that held steady eye contact now. But the voice inside remained, "You're still the weird kid." Chaotic society confuses you. Rapid social currents drown you. You'll always be Friday night absentee. He tried his absolute best. Perfect gentleman on dates, thoughtful questions about their passions, hand-carved wooden jewelry boxes as parting gifts. Cocktail banter still tripped him. Startup jargon flew over his head. Group text threads moved too fast to parse. Better alone, creating. Salary climbed steadily. 72,000 became 84,000 with a boutique hotel chain contract. Commissions pushed total compensation past 95,000 by 25. First investment milestone, $100,000 parked in low-cost index funds. Automatic monthly transfers like clockwork. Debt, zero. First big purchase, Red Wing Iron Ranger boots, $350. Broke them in planing walnut slabs for 12 hours straight. Social experiments continued half-heartedly. 26-year-old Boeing engineer met at a design conference. 6 dates, museum visits, shared sketches of impossible furniture. Bedroom invitation on date 7. I really like you, Alex. Stay over. He sat across from her at the coffee shop the next morning instead. You're amazing. But I need to stay focused. Hurt flashed in her eyes. Focused on what exactly? He couldn't articulate it fully. The work. The craft. The quiet certainty of chisel meeting grain. Instagram grew organically. Workshop shots, time-lapse of dovetail joints clicking home perfectly, walnut grain glowing under oil finish, prototype chairs staged dramatically against brick walls. 300 followers became 1,200. First brand deal, Japanese hand tool company offered $3,000 for a workshop tour video. Declined politely. Don't commercialize my process. 27 brought the first major contest win. Northwest Woodworking Expo. His minimalist oak dining table took first place. $10,000 prize. Judges called it brutalist poetry in motion. Local design blogs ran features. Capitol Hill carpenter redefines functional art. First magazine mention, Dwell magazine, half-page spread. First custom commission, $15,000 for a CEO's lakeside retreat dining set. Delivered in 7 weeks. Client wept when he saw the live edge slab table. Salary hit $110,000 base. Total compensation $140,000 with commissions. New apartment consideration? Stayed put. Workbench needed space more than granite countertops. First international tool order, Lie-Nielsen planes from Vermont, $1,200. First power tool upgrade, Festool track saw system, $3,000. Investments crossed $200,000. Dating pattern solidified into predictability. 28-year-old startup founder, venture-backed home decor app. 10 dates, private jet to Portland Design Week, hotel suite comped. You're not like other guys. Stay tonight. Alex packed his overnight bag instead. Great connection. Wrong timing. 28-year-old catalog model for IKEA. Gym spotting sessions turned dinner dates turned proposition. You're built different. Let's celebrate. Coffee shop goodbye next morning. Autoestima damage ran deeper than surface muscle. He was attractive now. Undeniably. Women he'd never imagined approached openly. But chaos overwhelmed. Networking mixers where everyone pitched simultaneously. After-work drinks devolving into drug-fueled rants. Social media DMs demanding immediate responses. He tried. Perfect posture, steady eye contact, tailored conversation. Still felt like the village kid rejecting joints under pickup lights. Always trying his absolute best, always slightly off rhythm. Career accelerated. 29-year-old Alex signed exclusive contract, $140,000 base designing signature furniture lines for 3 luxury hotel chains. Workshop expanded into adjacent unit at co-working space. First apprentice, 22-year-old art school dropout with good hands, bad discipline. Fired after 3 months. Respect the craft or leave. Investment portfolio hit $400,000. First real estate consideration, Portland condo. Rejected. Need workshop square footage. First International Design Conference, High Point Market, North Carolina. 3 custom pieces sold on site, $60,000 total. First magazine cover, fine woodworking, the new generation master. Peak hit precisely at 30. 140 base salary. Total comp $175,000. Body, deadlift 450 pounds, pull-ups 30 reps cold, shoulders splitting custom t-shirts. Dating pool, models, executives, influencers who'd ignored him at 20. Instagram, 22,000 followers. Workshop waiting list, 9 months. Investments, $600,000. Passport stamps, Japan, Italy, Denmark for tool research. Then came the void. Not clinical depression with its chemical fog. Architectural silence. A craftsman's pause before the perfect joint slides home. Seattle screamed, network harder, at gin tonic fueled afterworks. Bars pulsed with cocaine fueled deal making. Co-working spaces hosted vibe sessions with sound baths and ayahuasca retreats. His soul craved quiet creation space. Room to plain boards without mixer music. Time to design without interruption. 2 a.m. insomnia night, 30-day birthday eve. Laptop open to Google Maps. Village coordinates typed from memory. Slow motion zoom over childhood cabin. Moss-draped green shingle roof glowing faintly in satellite view, ancient oak tree cradling the structure like eternal sentinel. Street view timestamp, 2018. Everything pristine, waiting. Chest tightened. Not sadness. Certainty. Apartment listed for sale next morning, 800 square feet sold in 4 days. 6-figure contract resigned with 30 days notice. Pursuing independent design practice. 15 crates packed methodically, Japanese lathe, Swiss panel saws, half-finished canvases, 150-pound Olympic plates. Final gym session, personal record deadlift 475. Final date declined, 29-year-old venture capitalist. Rain check. No rain coming. Portland flight. One-way ticket. Rented Ford F-150 pickup at airport. 4-hour forest drive. Muscle memory navigating switchbacks before GPS loaded. Pines thickened. Gravel roads replaced asphalt. Silence deepened. Cabin appeared at road's end, dusty windows reflecting sunset, oak branches reaching protectively. Unloading final Japanese pull saw from truck bed. Calloused hands shook first time in decade. Not defeated homecoming. Complete evolution. Neighbors noticed next morning over coffee at village diner. Alex back? Thought city swallowed him. Old high school classmates nodded from across booths. Looks good. Different. Alex ordered eggs over easy, black coffee. Paid cash. Left 10% tip. Drove home. First workshop session. Plain strokes echoing through pines. Right where he belonged. Chapter 4. The reflection that healed all wounds. 3 weeks. That's all it took for the cabin to go from time-frozen relic to living, breathing workshop again. Alex's days settled into a rhythm as precise as the smoothest mortise and tenon joint, each motion purposeful, each breath measured, each creation a step closer to mastery. Dawn broke cold and gray through pine-filtered light. Black coffee brewed strong in a battered enamel pot over the restored cast-iron wood stove, steam curling toward rafters he'd scrubbed clean of 60 years' soot. First light revealed the oak giant outside the kitchen window, ancient branches stretching protectively over the shingle roof like a sentinel who'd waited decades for its master to return. Morning ritual never varied. 5:30 alarm. 30 push-ups on the rough pine floorboards to wake sleeping muscles. Coffee sipped black on the front porch, steam rising in visible clouds, the only sound wind whispering through needle clusters high above. 6 sharp, 5-kilometer trail run through familiar mud-slick paths, same switchbacks dodged at 12 years old on his first mountain bike, same creek crossings requiring precise foot placement on mossy stones. Heart rate peaked at 160, lungs burning clean mountain air, body temperature precisely regulated by 30 years of discipline. Return at 7. Breakfast simple, 6 egg whites scrambled with spinach from the newly planted cold frame garden, 1 cup cooked jasmine rice measured by eye, 16 ounces water. 9 grams protein per egg white times 6 equals 54 grams. Rice 35 grams carbs. Total prep time 4 minutes. Eating time exactly 12. No phone. No music. Silence absolute. 8 a.m. workshop doors opened. The garage transformation was complete. 14 by 20 foot space reclaimed from spider webs and rusting garden tools. 1 wall, Japanese lathe spinning silent on vibration dampening mounts he'd poured himself from concrete and rebar. Opposite wall, Swiss panel saws racked vertically, blades gleaming like surgical steel under twin fluorescent shop lights. Center space, workbench he'd built first week back, Douglas fir top 3 inches thick, face vise capacity 12 inches, leg vise for planing 6-foot boards flat to thousandths tolerance. Drawers contained 372 specialized chisels, gouges, rasps, each with its place, each used weekly. Prototype 47 awaited, the perfect chair. 30 inches tall backrest. Live-edge oak slab seat contoured for 12-hour sitting without numbness. Angled rear legs at 7 degrees for optimal weight distribution. Curved front legs sweeping upward like bird wings. Joinery invisible, double-sliding dovetails he'd invented sophomore year, stronger than mortise and tenon, cleaner than biscuits. Current issue, armrest to backrest transition felt wrong. Too abrupt. He marked it with blue tape. Chisel strokes began. Noon break, 30 minutes exactly. Ground turkey patty, steamed broccoli, 16 ounces water. Standing at workbench sketching armrest solutions in leather-bound notebook, page 123 of 250. Afternoon session pushed to 6 p.m. unless prototype demanded overtime. Dinner, wild-caught salmon from the village market, asparagus, 1 avocado sliced thin. 9 p.m., movie projection on taut bedsheet screen he'd sewn himself, Gladiator this evening, 3rd viewing this month. 11 p.m., sleep. Weekends blurred into work weeks. Saturday, market run to village diner for eggs, Jenkins Farm for ground beef, gas station for kerosene lanterns as backup power. Sunday, long run, 10 kilometers through unmarked deer trails only he remembered. Huerto expansion, cold frames now housed spinach, kale, heirloom tomatoes fighting autumn chill. Gym routine in driveway, bar hangs between twin pines, 3 sets max reps, kettlebell swings with 100-pound tire he'd rolled from the old logging road, farmer carries using 150-pound sandbags up cabin hill. The cabin breathed again. Wood stove drafted perfectly after chimney relining. Kitchen counters sanded smooth, sealed with food-grade tung oil. Single-paned windows double-glazed with custom-cut plexiglass he'd fitted himself. Rainwater collection system, 2 55-gallon drums yielding 60 gallons weekly for garden irrigation. Solar panels on south-facing roof slope, 1200 watts feeding deep-cycle marine batteries in shed. Generator backup fueled by chainsaw gasoline reserves. Off-grid capable indefinitely. Villagers noticed changes gradually. Jenkins at the diner, "Alex, you look different. Stronger." He'd nod, "Leave exact 15% tip." Gas station attendant, "Heard you're building fancy chairs. Need oak logs." Always. Old high school acquaintance at post office, "City treat you right?" Smile minimum. "Treated me fine." Conversations never lasted past 90 seconds. Respect grew not from words but from seeing his pickup loaded with quartered black walnut slabs, hearing two-stroke chainsaw echo distinctively through the valley. That perfect autumn evening arrived unannounced, as nature's masterpieces always do. Sky ignited purple-orange inferno, high-pressure ridge trapping heat against coastal moisture for maximum color saturation. Golden leaves detached slow motion from deciduous understory, floating down like warm snowflakes through crisp air smelling of damp earth and decaying foliage. Alex ran his oak loop counterclockwise today, same ancient tree where he'd carved initials at age 9 with his first pocket knife, letters now softened by 60 years' weather but still legible beneath bark ridges. Mile 3, heart rate steady 155 beats per minute, breath synchronized 4-count inhale, 4-count exhale, sweat tracing precise paths down veined forearms and chiseled abdomen beneath technical running shirt. Thirst hit calibrated, exactly 16 ounces needed before cramp risk. Same creek crossing since childhood. Same flat granite boulder serving as natural step. Same crystal clear mountain stream flowing 3 inches deep over polished pebbles. He knelt deliberately, calloused palms cupping icy water, bringing handfuls to cracked lips. Surface tension broke as he leaned forward for mirror reflection. Expected 30-year-old craftsman stared back. Got something impossible. 17-year-old Alex. Thin frame, unscarred hands lacking decades calluses, Avalana eyes wide with that specific blend of fear and stubborn fire, faded Metallica t-shirt clinging to narrow shoulders, exact expression worn rejecting 4th consecutive joint offer behind Coach Daniel's pickup that same Friday night. Village invisible boy nicknamed Saint Alex for refusing every substance offered. Workshop dweller while peers vomited riverside. Dreamer plotting money sufficient to create without permission from anyone. Adult Alex froze mid-breath, water dripping from beard stubble onto creek surface, creating expanding ripple rings around juvenile reflection. 17-year-old stared upward unblinking, brown eyes holding identical depth despite 13-year age gap. No words exchanged. No need. Adult collapsed cross-legged onto mud bank, red wing boot tips submerged in 38-degree water. Reflection held position, water surface stabilizing. You did it, Alex spoke to water, gravel voice cracking first time in documented memory. Words flowed unfiltered, 13 years compressed. You got every penny you swore for. Body lifts century-old logs solo now. Workshop where no one dictates cuts or joinery. Women completely unreachable at 17 begged dates. But lust never defined you. City chaos never broke you. Home was always silent creation. With yourself. Weird kid was always enough. Reflection lips curved fractional smile. Precise 2mm lift corners. Identical to adult Alex's rare genuine grin. Water surface rippled outward from unseen pebble disturbance upstream. Boy vanished. Adult remained. Alex wept. Shoulders shook. Hands covered face. Not sadness tears. Not defeat. Absolute healing. 60 seconds exactly. Forest maintained absolute silence. No jay calls, no squirrel chatter, no wind through needles. Oaks stood witness. He rose. Creek crossing deliberate. Run resumed same pace. Cabin porch reached 90 minutes later. No shower. No food. Straight to workbench. First chisel stroke on prototype 47 armrest. Perfect. Arm to back transition flowed organic now. No awkward angle. 6 hours continuous work. Bed at 4 a.m. dreamless sleep 8 hours. Chapter 5. The Master of Eternal Silence. Oak Eternal, his prototype chair, claimed first place at the National Woodworking Design Competition in Portland. 50 limited edition pieces sold at $8,000 each to boutique hotels lining the Maine coastline. Their live-edge oak slabs glowed under soft lobby lighting from Maine to Monterey. The judges called it functional sculpture that breathes. Dwell magazine ran a 6-page feature. Instagram jumped from 22,000 to 108,000 followers overnight. Custom orders flooded his inbox. Tech CEOs demanding dining sets, architects sketching entire collections around his proportions. By 38, Master Woodworks existed only online. A digital workshop accepting commissions from 12 months out. Tables at $15,000 with live black walnut edges. Chairs at $9,000 with invisible joinery defying gravity. 18-month waiting lists. The village that gossiped about his defeated return now called timidly with requests. Alex, could you make me a table like the ones in the magazines? The diner Widow Jenkins requested bookshelves for her romance novels. The Valley Logger delivered fallen oaks because he knew the master needed them. Thus the nickname was born. The Master. He never sought it. Never asked for it. The forest loggers murmured, the master cut the perfect oak for that Seattle table. Widow Jenkins told anyone who listened at the diner, the master made me a bookshelf that looks like museum quality. Even the diner boy bringing his weekly coffee asked with shining eyes, will you teach me to carve wood someday? Alex always answered the same way, courteous but brief. A slight nod of the head. A minimal smile that never reached his eyes. He didn't need their approval. Respect was earned through results that spoke louder than any words. At 40 came the CNN interview, recorded in a remote studio set up in the cabin itself. He wore a white work shirt with sleeves rolled up to reveal blue-veined forearms, the giant oak visible through the window as the perfect backdrop. The New York presenter, with Manhattan's skyline blinking nervously behind her, fired the question everyone expected. Alex, you left a $140,000 a year contract in Seattle for this. Why? He looked straight into the camera with those hazel eyes that no longer doubted anything. A deliberate 3-second pause. The city promises easy money, sex without soul, contacts that evaporate like marijuana smoke. The forest gives you absolute mastery, and that is worth more than all the millions in the world. The Oak Eternal chair ended up permanently exhibited at the MoMA as contemporary design piece number 472 of the year. Hollywood sent $1 million advances for biopic rights titled The Master. Netflix offered $15 million for a 6-episode docuseries. Alex rejected every offer with one phrase handwritten on cabin letterhead paper: "My life is not fiction. It is mine." The cabin's transformation reached artisanal cathedral levels. The workshop now occupied 800 square feet of pure workspace. Japanese precision lathe spinning silently on vibration-dampening mounts he poured himself from concrete and steel rebar. Swiss panel saws racked vertically like surgical steel under twin fluorescent shop lights. Central workbench built in 2 intense weeks. 3-inch thick Douglas fir top surface. 12-inch face vise capacity. Leg vise for planing 6-foot boards flat to thousandths tolerance. The drawers contained exactly 372 specialized tools: chisels, gouges, rasps, files of every grit imaginable. Each with its exact place. Each used weekly on some prototype. Technical library covered 2 walls. 19th century Italian ebonists' treatises bound in leather. Pure Scandinavian design manuals with dog-eared corners from constant use. Exhaustive mathematical studies on the golden ratio in architecture that he translated himself from Italian. The professional garage gym supported brutal loads. Pull-up bar loaded to 300 pounds held between 2 10-inch diameter young pines. Heavy bags hand-stitched from deer leather he tanned himself in oak barrels. Cast iron kettlebells forged in the shed's makeshift foundry. Gourmet garden systematically expanded. San Marzano tomatoes harvested in August for winter sauce. Dried herbs hung in perfect clusters for seasonings lasting years. The self-sufficient electrical system defied any winter storm. 1,200-watt south-facing roof solar panels feeding deep-cycle marine batteries in the shed. Rainwater collection. 2 55-gallon drums yielding 60 gallons weekly for garden irrigation. Backup generator fueled by chainsaw gasoline reserves. Completely off-grid. Indefinitely. He visited the village only twice weekly, never more. Over-easy eggs breakfast at the diner on Tuesdays. Solid brass hinges or lathe bits at the hardware store on Fridays. "Good morning, master," they said now without a trace of irony. He responded with minimal head inclination, smile committing to nothing. His self-esteem was completely healed. The bathroom mirror no longer lied. The forest creek confirmed the truth. Nights reached perfection in sacred simplicity. Dry oak firewood crackling in the cast-iron stove, projected on taut bedsheet screen he'd sewn himself. Gladiator tonight for the 13th time, dialogue known better than the Lord's Prayer. Black coffee steaming in lathe-turned ceramic mug, vapor rising slow spirals toward ceiling beams. 11 p.m., lights out. Dreamless sleep 8 hours exactly. Mornings began with ritual run to the giant oak, crystal-clear creek, now a clean mirror reflecting only the complete man. No trace left of the skinny 17-year-old boy. Only architectural peace. At 45 came the 3rd book without fanfare. Not memoirs. Not autobiography. Pure fiction. The Master, novel about a man returning to the forest finding God not in scriptures, but in the perfect grain of a black oak board. International bestseller. Major literary prizes collected dust unclaimed. I prefer to write. At 50, the oak eternal chair became a 21st century design icon. Museums worldwide requested donated replicas for permanent exhibits. MoMA bought Prototype Zero for $200,000 for its definitive collection. Silicon Valley companies filled entire campuses with his furniture. $30,000 conference tables, $12,000 executive chairs. Master Woodworks invoiced 8 figures annually without advertising. Without active social media since age 33. Word of mouth only among those understanding true value. Waiting list, 36 months. Minimum commission price, $50,000. The village called him the master with absolute reverence. Diner children left carved ship sketches on napkins beside his egg plate. Loggers delivered fallen oaks at dawn, because the master would know what to do with them. 82-year-old widow Jenkins sat in her custom bookshelf and told anyone listening, that boy was always special. Always. Hollywood tried 3 more times. Spielberg attached personal letter. Netflix doubled previous offer. Amazon Studios sent private jet. Every rejection arrived handwritten on cabin stationery. My life is not fiction. It is mine. Thank you anyway. At 60, legacy solidified beyond money or wood. A generation of young artisans made pilgrimage to the forest, seeking the master. Not for photos. Not for endorsement. To sit 3 silent hours while he planed a cherry board without speaking. To hear 45 minutes on air drying versus vacuum chamber differences. To carry home an unpolished oak block with words engraved beneath, "Create better than I did." The entire village changed around him unasked. Gas station now sold his miniature ship models to tourists, $100 each, proceeds to school fund. Diner hung framed photos of prototypes number 1, 2, 47. Rundown Cinema showed woodworking documentaries Saturdays, free admission under 18. But Alex the master remained exactly the same. 7 a.m. Run to the oak. 8. Workshop doors open. 6 p.m. Dinner alone. 9. Projection ritual. 11. Lights out. The money dreamed at 17 before the steamed mirror bought exactly what it promised: absolute freedom to be himself forever. True love turned out to be Alex with himself. Calloused hands carving legacy no world's money could match. The giant oak continued cradling the cabin protectively. The crystal creek reflected only truth. The forest kept respectful silence. And in that eternal silence, the master found God. The end.